These motherfuckers got scraps too, don't get caught lacking. Y'all seen these old cowboy movies, you go to the bar, nigga, you about to get tried. You go out in the bar, you got that drinking with your brothers and that shit, then you about to get tried out here, but don't be caught lacking, don't kill your brother off some bullshit, man. Don't hurt your people, man. This is for protection only, man. I got family out this bitch, man. I got brothers out this bitch, I gotta protect somebody trying to run up on us. We lacking, what we gonna do, fight him? Fight a nigga with a machine gun? Now we're gonna bust your ass. We'll cut your head off and bring it back to the Lord, man. UPK shit, man. Hey, man. She say I'm obnoxious. Say I got way too much confidence. Say it's a problem. All I do is try to pull a woman and say I'm a monster. But really, it ain't nothing. I'm just like my brothers. But shit, you know you look better with me, yeah. Girl, you know you look better with me. How I pull up and then shock. I do my dance on them, what the fuck? How I judge, I run it up. You coming faster, girl, boy, stop, bitch. Okay, you know you look better with me. I pull up with lines. I'm a judo with a nigga pride. I'm just like a lion. Want my woman cook, clean, fuck, and shut the fuck up, yeah. I got bigger problems to worry about than you in adultery. But shit, you know you ain't going nowhere. Hey, taking my move with the bass. Try to walk to the place. Ice on me, come and skate. You really hoe wanna escape. Yeah, we up, fish your face. Or outwork me, what you think? Pretty girl, good taste. Wanna know all my traits. You know I'm on attention. I'm James Brown, to the Israel. Bullets long, yeah, extensions. The nigga hate what they mention. I pull up how I'm gifted. I'm Mike Jacks with the fixin'. Beat it like I'm Thriller. She say I'm obnoxious. Say I got way too much confidence. Say it's a problem. All I do is try to pull a woman and say I'm a monster. But really, it ain't nothing. I'm just like my brothers. But shit, you know you look better with me, yeah. Girl, you know you look better with me. How I pull up and then shock. I do my dance on them, what the fuck? How I judge, I run it up. You coming faster, girl, boy, stop, bitch. Okay, you know you look better with me, damn. Bitch, you basic. If you don't want a South Coast nigga, you chasing ranking. And really, you ain't even damn exquisite. And bitch, you faking. Wanna rush a dog sick nigga. In the picture I painted. And I mean, everywhere I say T. Might give you some flavor. But I guess you ain't even wanna take it. Bitch, you outdated. And you done gave it up for some paper. You just like your main man. Start with 3 damn baby daddies. Spit what you thinking. You were thinking with your damn bodies, huh? You the type motherfucker wanna pull up, how the fuck when the fuck, huh? Then beat it from the back, no damn attack, it was just for lunch, huh? Dirty damn bot pussy bitch, wanna talk shit on the low, huh? Wanna diss everybody with, cause you don't even know how they say I'm obnoxious. Say I got way too much confidence, say it's a problem. All I do is try to pull a woman and say I'm a monster. But really, it ain't nothing, I'm just like my brothers. But shit, you know you look better with me, yeah. Girl, you know you look better with me. How I pull up and then shock. I do my dance on them, what the fuck? How I judge, I run it up. You coming faster, girl, boy, stop, bitch. Okay, you know you look better with me, dance. I don't know, trying to get right with the preacher, probably on the low, huh? What the fuck you talking about, girl? You already know what the fuck we on, huh? We ain't passing down bitches, but you get right, what you already know, huh? Bitch, you know you look better with me, yeah.
Yeah, you know what it is. 140 for the rapper, busy man, shit, nigga. They take their head over, nigga.
I pray where Eve did to Adam, I just pray my love don't lie to me. Swing the iron like Samson, I can't let no holder lie to me. I don't feel these rappers, oh they lies is hypocrisy. Ain't no competition, ain't no rivalry. Niggas think I'm playing, I don't hear one word they saying, this shit light work. Think Muhammad one of us, he might lose his life first. Suckle up and stay alert, another cop just stretch the nigga. He a demon, this that exorcism, watch I bless the nigga. You took that open blood, then you know I'm gon' get active with listen. From the opposition, I see vision. Let me paint the picture. Rappers claim they spit and I ain't listening. Is in fact the fear. If revenge was a woman, now I stroke that bitch like Jack the Ripper. War, we gon' run the summer. It's gon' be historical. Thought they making plays, made them niggas call the audible. Ask who run this shit, but that question is rhetorical. Bitch, I'm the one, me cookies with the oil. I'ma get them crackers, hell, should've never kidnapped my family. I came to do that. Bet I be the last nigga standing. Do a life sentence for my niggas, pray you understand me. I might put a switch on this Glock and call it young baby. How you real triggering on them dots? You a bird feeder, claiming he a demon. What's a demon to a cold leader? What he saying something, I ain't him. This shit life. It ain't about who got the gun, it's about who gon' up that fight first. I turn a bad situation to a game changer. Bring soldiers from the dead, just raised up the chain. Free shots, I'ma look like Aaron Jones when I run it. Never bite the hand that feeds you, you'll never get that hand back. He bitchin' about 10%, I don't wanna hear none of that. He dropping sword, fuck him, just make sure you get that cover back. Look around, he ain't with us, probably cause he never was. Now my chin like you with the angels for your brothers. Everybody wanna be Richard Porter, God kill him like Alpo. Play if he want, it's laying in the trunk like Lee Malvo. I'm a certified woman's ass nigga, I am not a toy. Hey, out with that hollow side, yeah, this the real McCoy. Feel like Gullah Jack when I'm in Fayetteville, you feel your boy. Still about my brain, still I think that's all that I do. The way I get that boy lost, they gon' start to call him Elroy. Fuck his game, pop out on them demons like I'm Hellboy.
Shalom Israel. Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shah, Barakathon, Yahweh Shemalathon, Bashem, Yahweh Shah. This is the ISUPK, started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana. And since 1969, we've been teaching the truth concerning the Bible. And that truth being the so-called Black, Hispanic, and North American Indians are the chosen people of God. And our oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of. Now, you tuned in, man, with a precinct officer of 1,000, Howard Mar, ISUPK, Kentucky, man. And tonight is our Monday night history class. But before we get started, I want to invite every so-called Black, Hispanic, and North American Indian to tune into our content. I write the weekly content, do be content, man. Monday night, of course, you got the history class. All right, 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. Tuesday night, brotherhood class, taught by Officer of 1,000. I'm a Wonga boy. And Wednesday night is the podcast, the only podcast in Kentucky you should be paying attention to. All right, Cry Out, Spare Not podcast, hosted by Officers of 1,000. I'm a Wonga boy and Asiapium. And coming here, the biblical breakdowns. All right, the biblical solutions to all of the viral videos going across the internet, man. Come and get your entire timeline broken down by 2 precinct prophets in the UPK under Commander General Yohana. So again, Monday night you got the history class, Tuesday night brotherhood class, Wednesday night is the podcast. Now tonight, what we finna get into tonight, topic of tonight's class, redlining, urban renewal, and Hurricane Katrina. All right, we're right around the anniversary. Where 20 years ago, New Orleans was flooded, particularly in the lower Ninth Ward, right? Of course, by Hurricane Katrina. And we're going to talk about that tonight, man. Redlining, urban renewal, and Hurricane Katrina. Now, you might be asking, what does redlining and urban renewal have to do with Hurricane Katrina? This is going to be real similar to a class I did about a month back on a similar topic, but dealing with the murder of Breonna Taylor by the Louisville Police Department. All right, it's a very similar story between Hurricane Katrina and what happened to Breonna Taylor. All right, if you haven't watched the class, man, go back. It's about a month ago. It's a class I did on eminent domain and Breonna Taylor. All right, ISUPK, Kentucky, Maine. Check it out, Facebook and YouTube. But tonight, Redlining, Urban Renewal, and Hurricane Katrina. And again, this is going to be dropped. You can't get nowhere else besides the ISUPK under Commanding General Yohana. All right. Now, why Hurricane Katrina was not a natural disaster as well. All right. Somebody got to pay. Somebody got to pay for what happened here. All right. Somebody has to pay. And somebody's responsible for all of the devastation that happened in New Orleans, mainly in Black communities back in 2005. All right. 3 months after Hurricane Katrina, the flood waters had receded, the Superdome had emptied, and the national press had left. The city's most famous devastated neighborhood was the Lower Ninth Ward. What you saw was a landscape of abandoned buildings, molded refrigerators set out on sidewalks, down trees, electrical wires, and mud covering everything. Now we finna get the official story first, and then we finna break it down for you. All right, by the standards of one's middle class school geography class, New Orleans ought to be one of America's most prosperous cities instead of one of its poorest. All right, New Orleans should be one of America's most prosperous cities, but it's one of the poorest. It is the natural port for the vast interior of the country, from the Rockies to the Appalachian. In its immediate vicinity are many natural resources, rich soil for growing rice and sugarcane, and plenty of cotton, sulfur, seafood, and beginning in the early 20th century, oil. Now, when it's talking about the rich soil, all right, Louisiana is sitting right in the middle of the country, what's called the Black Belt. All right, the Black Belt is amongst the richest soil in the Americas. All right, it runs from East Texas all the way up through the Carolinas. All right, it is the most minerally rich soil in the Americas. Then there's the city's celebrated charms, the food, the music, all right, the atmosphere. But New Orleans peaked relative to other American cities back in 1840 and has been losing ground ever since. It looks today like an especially severe example of the resource curse because its economy of extraction was based originally on slavery. Antebellum New Orleans was the country's biggest marketplace for the buying and selling of humans. And then on Jim Crow, which generated a system of exploitation that pervades every local institution, as well as a deep, evidently permanent mistrust between the races. Now, like I said, we finna get the official story, and then we finna break it down for you. All right, what does redlining and urban renewal have to do with Hurricane Katrina? And then there's New Orleans' relationship to nature. Half of the city is below sea level. Only a relatively small portion, the section that was originally settled, is habitable by traditional definitions. The city is surrounded by endless borderland that shifts between river, marsh, swamp, and ocean. Katrina was only one along a series of hurricanes that have struck near the mouth of the Mississippi. In New Orleans, all right, civic monumentalism was always bound up in the racial order. Consider the Confederate statues that the city built in the early 20th century and only recently removed, but not every expression of it was explicitly racial. Another important project from the same period was the creation of an elaborate system of drains and pumps, supervised and by an engineer named A. Baldwin Wood, which was supposed to make the entire area within the Great Crescent bend of river all the way to the shore of the lake permanently flood-proof. And as Andy Horowitz, a young historian at Tulane University, writes in Katrina, His new history of the event, it was 20th century New Orleans. The part built after the drainage system was constructed that flooded in the late summer of 2005. If there's a standard Katrina narrative among non-New Orleans, it runs something like this. The storm was as devastating as it was because of real-time official incompetence, especially by the Bush administration. And if y'all recall, during this time, Kanye West came out and said George Bush hates black people. Its main victims were poor black Americans, particularly in the lower ninth ward. All right. And we finna get into some of the narratives about Katrina. We finna get into some of the theories about what happened, some of the conspiracies about what happened, and then we finna get to the bottom. All right. The real truth has been staring us in the face the whole time. All right. The real truth has been staring us in the face the whole time, and we finna get to it. Again, somebody's responsible for this. All right. Somebody's responsible for what happened, mainly in the lower ninth ward. All right. Somebody's responsible for this. Let's walk. Like I said, somebody's responsible for this. All right, the flooding of New Orleans during Hurricane Katrina was a human-made disaster, not a natural one. The flood protection system for the city had been poorly designed and maintained. And there's a reason why. It also turned out that a series of waterway engineering decisions to try to contain the flow of the Mississippi and to facilitate river navigation to and from the Gulf were badly out of sync with the region's ecosystem. In short, it was a failure of critical infrastructure at multiple levels that nearly doomed one of America's major cities. What happened to New Orleans should serve as a forceful reminder of the costly consequences of denial and neglect. All right. The official story is that this is all about neglect. All right. All about the costly consequences of denial and neglect. And we're going to get into who and what was neglected and why. All right, let's walk. Were the levees bombed in New Orleans? This was one of the theories that came out. It's become a strongly held belief by some in the storm zone, the idea that the destruction of New Orleans' heavily poor, heavily black ninth ward was neither an accident nor an act of nature. Diane French is a New Orleans citizen and community leader. She testified before the House Select Committee on Hurricane Katrina on Tuesday. This was her quote. I was on my front porch. I had witnesses that they bombed the walls of the levee. All right, this was one of the theories that was circulating right around this time period. All right, she said, I was on my porch. I had witnesses that they bombed the walls of the levee. All right, the latest theory is partly rooted in historical fact. All right, partly rooted in historical fact. In 1927, the levees were bombed to save parts of the city, and black neighborhoods were inundated. All right, back in 1927, the levees were bombed to save certain parts of the city. All right, and black neighborhoods were inundated. All right, let's walk. Source NBC. All right, James Butler in the flood of 1927. Now we're going to see, like I said, the reason that residents of New Orleans believe that the levees were bombed is because that exact thing happened before. All right, the levees were actually bombed in the flood of 27. All right, let's walk. As the head of Canal Bank, the largest bank in the South, and a member of the New Orleans Board of Liquidation of the city, James Butler was one of the most powerful men in New Orleans during the 20s. That power would be unleashed during the Great Mississippi River Flood in 1927. On Good Friday, April 15, 1927, 15 inches of rain poured on New Orleans within 18 hours, causing the water to rise 4 feet in parts of the city. A power outage had knocked out electricity to the wood pumps, which would normally have drained the water. As the storm continued, members of the city's banking community met with Marcel Garside, the manager of the dock board. He noted that he could guarantee the safety of New Orleans by dynamiting the levee elsewhere, if the men agreed. All right, like I said, the reason that residents of New Orleans, specifically in the Ninth Ward, believed the levees were bombed because that exact thing had happened before. All right, while that action would endanger the rural areas around the levee, the bankers heard from financial institutions concerned about the city's safety and their investments from it. Now, that's going to be important when we talk about urban renewal. All right, when we talk about urban renewal, all right, people investing in certain communities is going to be important. All right, New Orleans Mayor Arthur O'Keefe agreed to abide by the bankers' wishes. He appointed Butler chairman of the Citizens Flood Relief Committee, which was charged with all matters involving the flood. Meanwhile, residents of New Orleans were fleeing in droves, and city businesses shuttered their doors, even though the Corps of Engineers contended that flood waters wouldn't reach the city. In addition, Isaac Klein, head of the U.S. Weather Bureau office at New Orleans, told a newspaper that the possibility of danger to the city was remote, yet a plan to dynamite proceeded with Butler's backing. The impending destruction of the levee forced mass evacuations of nearby residents, with the city designating a huge warehouse as a refugee center for those with nowhere else to go. All right, similar to when all of the refugees filled up the Superdome. All right, those residents were not allowed to witness the destruction of the levees. Only the privileged with their official permits could pass the National Guard, noted one New Orleans writer. On April 29th, 3 blasts rang out, and they would not do the job. It took 10 days and 39 tons of dynamite, which eventually released 250,000 cubic feet of water per second. All right, April 29th, 1927, 3 blasts rang out, but they would not do the job. It took 10 days and 39 tons of dynamite, which would eventually release 250,000 cubic feet of water per second. A subsequent breach of a levee upriver, which eased the pressure on New Orleans levees, showed that the dynamiting wasn't needed to protect the city. All right, the dynamiting was not needed to protect the city. This is the reason why the residents in the Ninth Ward believed that the levees were bombed, because this exact thing happened back in 1927. All right. This was the reason for the mistrust, like I said earlier, between the races. All right. Because white people had bombed the levees back in 1927. All right. There's a reason to distrust white people. All right. There's an absolute valid reason to distrust white people. And according to PBS, the dynamite wasn't even necessary. The dynamite wasn't even necessary. All right, how historic land use policies led to flooding disasters in communities of color. Now, we finna get to a history of flooding in Black and brown communities and the reason for it. All right, discriminatory land use policies like urban renewal, restrictive lending, and redlining sabotage wealth building in Black and brown communities, entrenched racial segregation, and institutionalized disinvestment and communities of color across the U.S. Now, we just read how these bankers got together back in 27, how they were invested in certain communities. All right, now we're going to talk about communities that were disinvested in. All right, and we just read how bombing of the levees back in 27 wasn't even necessary. All right, so entrenched in racial segregation and institutionalized disinvestment in communities of color across the U.S. These inequities leave many Americans more vulnerable to the effects of climate change, meaning that increased flooding disproportionately impacts communities of color and further amplifies existing disparities. Now, why does flooding disproportionately impact communities of color? All right, why was it that the Ninth Ward, a large Black community in New Orleans, why was this the biggest area that was damaged by Hurricane Katrina? We're going to get into it. All right, land use policies have historically been used as a tool by institutions to further discriminate against Black and brown communities across the U.S. Urban renewal, in which cities sought to clear blighted areas for new development, systematically targeted Black and brown homes and businesses for demolition, often for the construction of highways that left communities divided, isolated, and polluted. All right, now, in these so-called blighted areas, in these places that are going to be redeveloped, all right, these places like the two Black neighborhoods that were demolished to build the Pentagon, all right, residents need to go somewhere. And we finna find out where residents are being resegregated to. All right, the process destroyed Black and brown wealth accumulation and displaced entire communities. Again, residents need to go somewhere. All right, like I said, two Black neighborhoods were demolished and razed to build the Pentagon. All right, but residents need to go somewhere. And we finna find out where displaced residents are segregated into. Additionally, the process of redlining, in which the Federal Housing Agency labels certain areas as safe or unsafe for lending mainly along racial lines, further entrenched segregation and limited opportunities for Black and brown wealth building. In many cases, policies like these segregated communities of color into areas known to be susceptible to climate-related disasters. All right. In many cases, policies like these segregated communities of color into areas known to be susceptible to climate-related disasters. All right. The Ninth Ward, which is a mainly Black community, all right, residents were being forcefully segregated into these areas. All right, purposely redlined into these districts. All right, only able to purchase homes in these areas, only able to legally purchase property in areas known to be susceptible to climate-related disasters. Are y'all hearing me on this? All right, in places as far apart as Evanston, Illinois, Raleigh, North Carolina, and Houston, Texas, for example, low-lying areas were redlined by the FHA and remain occupied by people of color. This is what happened in Hurricane Katrina. All right, low-lying areas, all right, places below sea level were redlined by the FHA and remain occupied by people of color. According to Florida's Gulf Coast, currently recovering from Hurricane Helen and Milton, Black communities like Rebonia, and Northport St. Joe were forced into low-lying areas along the coast due to redlining and other racist land use policies. This is exactly what happened in Hurricane Katrina. Now, as tropical storms become more increasingly common, they're facing the worst effects of flooding due to both their location and institutional disinvestment in their infrastructure. Redlining, urban renewal, and other racist land use policies that destroyed and segregated communities of color also cut them off from the primary avenue of intergenerational wealth building, which is real estate. With accumulated wealth in communities of color systematically dismantled and opportunities for growth and recovery repeatedly denied, Black and brown families had little power to influence public or private sector decisions. This created a cycle of institutional disinvestment and impoverishment. Governments and the private sector had little incentive to invest in these communities' infrastructure, and residents had to face the consequences of those decisions. All right. And the consequence is being forced and being redlined into living in areas known to be heavily hit by hurricanes. All right. This is what happened in Hurricane Katrina. All right. You have people that are being segregated into areas and being redlined into areas known to be flood zones. All right, even for cities further from the coast like Detroit and Baltimore, the aging infrastructure that contains ghost streams, rivers, and wetlands contribute to flooding problems in historically underserved neighborhoods. As a result, for many cities across the U.S., formerly redlined areas where communities of color are often still located are disproportionately vulnerable to flood. All right. And this is the reason that Hurricane Katrina mainly dealt with Black communities. All right. As a result, many cities across the U.S., formerly redlined areas where communities of color are often still located, are disproportionately vulnerable to flooding. And this is why Hurricane Katrina impacted mainly Black communities. Okay? Because Black and brown people have been historically redlined and segregated into areas that are vulnerable to flooding. And this is what happened with Hurricane Katrina. Again, somebody's responsible for this. All right, somebody's responsible for this. All right, Oscarville, a ghost town in Forsyth County, Georgia. Oscarville, a majority Black town, is most famous for being the location of a series of violent crimes and racially motivated riots that happened in 1912, driving away most of the Black residents. In 1950, remnants of the town were flooded during the construction of Lake Lanier. Now we're going to talk about a town that was purposely flooded to build a lake. Again, the residents of New Orleans, specifically the Ninth Ward, have a reason to distrust white people. Have an absolute reason to distrust white people. All right, there was a Black town that was purposely flooded to build a lake. Again, somebody's responsible. Somebody's responsible. Now, after watching this class, go back and watch the drop I did dealing with eminent domain and Breonna Taylor. All right, in the months preceding the 1912 conflicts, racial tensions in the area still remain high from the 1906 Atlanta race riots. In 1912, white farmers in the area were under economic stress, in which they blamed on Black landowners. Months prior to the events of Oscarville, a dispute between a Black boy and a white girl at a peach orchard in nearby Plainville had turned into an attempted lynching of several black men. Residents of Plainville resisted, and the situation escalated into a shootout, which resulted in the death of a white sheriff in Plainville. All right, it was going down like the Old West out there in Georgia. All right, September 5th, 1912, 22-year-old white woman, Ellen Grice, made an allegation that two black men had attempted to rape her. This is the same song and dance. This is the same thing that got Black Wall Street burnt down. This is the same thing that got Emmett Till murdered. This is the same thing that got Rosewood burnt to the ground. All right, some lying ass white woman. All right, the Night Riders, whites on horseback that will use the cover of night to descend on black communities in Forsyth County with the intention of inflicting property damage and injury for the purpose of expunging Forsyth County of all black residents. In Oscarville, firebombs were thrown into the local church, which was a community hub for Oscarville, similar to other communities at the time. 1912, there were 1,100 black residents in Forsyth County. Because of the danger and instability caused by the Night Riders, which we can basically call them Klansmen, most of the black residents at Forsyth County left during September and October 1912. Because of the urgency of their situation, black landowners attempting to leave often had no choice but to sell their land at prices far below what the land was worth and far below what they themselves had paid for it. Other families were unable to sell their property before leaving, thus receiving no compensation. Now, these residents, I wonder what happened. Do you think they were possibly segregated and redlined into flood zones like the 9th Ward in New Orleans? Look here, man. White man is the devil that the Bible speaks of. All right. And in the ISUPK under Commander General Yohana since 1969, we've been teaching the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and North American Indians, all the chosen people of God, and our oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of. All right. White residents will later take advantage of adverse possession laws intended to make better use of abandoned land to take possession of land left behind by black residents without having to pay the previous owners for it. If you ever hear a YT person say, just pull yourself up by your own bootstraps, like their forefathers so-called had to do, I want to remind them of this. You had a prosperous black town that was terrorized. By white supremacists. Terrorized by white supremacists. Forcing people to leave. Then you had white folks come right up behind and scoop the land up. And then had a nerve to tell you to pull yourself up by your own bootstrap. Meanwhile, you have residents being forced out and later on redlined and segregated into known flood zones like the 9th Ward in New Orleans. All right, in the decades following the 1912 expulsions, land that had formerly been part of Oscarville was gradually sold to the government. Plans for construction of the Beaufort Dam was approved in 1947. The dam, situated on the Chattahoochee River, would regulate flooding and lead to the formation of Lake Lanier. The remains of Oscarville were flooded in 1950 during the lake's construction. The lake was named after Confederate veteran Sidney Lanier. Just to add insult to injury, they're going to name the lake after a Confederate veteran. All right, if this ain't devilish activity, I don't know what is. All right, to terrorize black residents of a town, to steal land from them, flood the remains of it, and then name the lake after a Confederate veteran? All right. If the white man ain't the devil, I don't know who is. All right. If the white man ain't the devil, I don't know who is. Again, somebody is responsible. Somebody is responsible. And I'm going to let you decide. All right. Somebody is responsible. And I'm going to let you decide. All right. So let's drop this. Let's drop this. Let's go to the Bible. Let's see what the Bible says. Let's see what the Bible says. We're going to go to the book of Ecclesiasticus and the Apocrypha. Ecclesiasticus 12 and 10. Never trust thine enemy. For like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. All right. Never trust thine enemy. All right. The residents of the Ninth Ward had a reason to distrust white people. The residents of the Ninth Ward that were flooded during Hurricane Katrina had a reason to believe the levees were bombed. Why? Because back in 1927, during the flood of 27, the levees were absolutely bombed back then, leaving black communities inundated. All right. The residents of the Ninth Ward had a reason to not trust their enemy. For like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness. Meaning, you ever had an older car, you get just a little bit of rust on it, you can't get rid of it. That rust is finna spread. That rust is finna spread and ain't no stopping it. The same for the wickedness of our 400 and some odd year open enemy. All right, the wickedness of our open enemy is only going to spread. All right, let's drop that. Let's drop that. Let's go to Ecclesiasticus and the Apocrypha, chapter 12, verse 16. An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagineth how to throw thee into a deep pit. He will weep with his eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. All right. These are for the ones that aren't open with their racism. All right. The enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart, he imagineth how to throw thee into a pit. He will weep with his eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. All right, our enemy's not going to be satisfied with blood. All right, this is for the ones that aren't in the open about their racism. All right, let's drop that. Let's go to Ezekiel 35 and 5. All right, Ezekiel 35 and 5. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had them in. All right, the Bible says that our enemy has a perpetual hatred. All right, if anybody watching, growing up, if you've ever had the question, why does racism exist? All right, the answer has been in the Bible the whole time. All right, the Bible has been sitting on Big Mama's coffee table this whole time collecting dust. All right, our enemy has had a perpetual hatred for us. All right, white people have had a perpetual hatred for so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and North American Indians. All right, a perpetual, never-ending hatred for the Lord's chosen people. All right, and has shed the blood of the children of Israel by force of the sword in the time of their calamity. All right. In the time of our calamity, they've shed our blood by the force of the sword. All right. Let's drop that. Let's go to the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 12. Like I said, somebody's responsible. Somebody's responsible for what happened to the black residents of the Ninth Ward during Hurricane Katrina. All right, somebody's responsible for the black residents of Oscarville. All right, Habakkuk 2 and 12. Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood and establisheth a city by iniquity. All right, woe to him that buildeth a town with blood and establisheth a city by iniquity. All right, woe means destruction. All right, the Bible is calling destruction on him that builds a town with blood and establishes a city by sin. All right, Lake Lanier that was built over a thriving black community, that was a town built with blood. That was a city established by sin. All right, and the Bible says, woe to him. All right, destruction. The Bible is calling destruction to the people responsible for a lake that was flooded, a lake that was built over the black town Oscarville. All right, the Bible is calling for destruction to the people responsible for the destruction of Oscarville. All right, this is what the Bible says. All right, never trust your enemy, especially the ones that talk a good game. Especially the ones that talk a good game. Like I said, somebody's responsible. Somebody's responsible. And like I said, the black residents of the Ninth Ward have a reason to mistrust white people. The residents of the Ninth Ward have a reason to believe the levees were bombed. Because in 1927, that very thing happened. All right, a banker came up with a plot to bomb the levees during the flood of 27 that left black communities inundated. All right, the residents of the Ninth Ward have a reason to not trust white people. All right. We also found out that during the time of segregation, during the time when redlining was legal, you have black communities being segregated into known flood zones. This is why you have this catastrophe in the Ninth Ward during Hurricane Katrina. Because you have people segregated, knowingly and purposely segregated into known flood zones. And that's what happened during Hurricane Katrina. That's why black communities in New Orleans were impacted the most. All right, so I appreciate y'all hanging out with me, man. All right, soaking up some of this game. All right, appreciate y'all tuning in. Of course, every Monday, Lord willing, 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. All right, ISUPK, Kentucky, under Commander General Hunter. All right, Monday night history class. If you haven't watched the class I did on eminent domain and the murder of Breonna Taylor, just go back about a month and a half. ISUPK Kentucky on YouTube and Facebook. All right, check out the class I did on eminent domain and the murder of Breonna Taylor. And Tuesday night, of course, you got the Brotherhood class taught by Officer of 1,000. I'm a Wonga boy. All right, every Tuesday, Lord willing, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Come and get some of this Brotherhood. And of course, Wednesday night, you got the podcast. All right, Cry Out, Spare Not podcast, hosted by Officers of 1,000. I'm a Wonga boy and ISUPK. And with that, we'll do one courtesy salute. All right, Shalom. Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai Barakatham Yahweh Shamalatham Bashim Yahweh Shai. Class dismissed.
I on the table.
I ain't finna tell you how I got away with this shit.
If I'm more right, that's good business. She look good, but hang with dumb bitches. Tell her I'm way too fly for one sister. And then she leave a priest, I won't miss her. Won't put a ring around it. Oh, no, no, no. Bitches for the street like basketball goals. I always knew she'd let that lane hit her. Won't get a cent from me, I ain't simple. Bitch, now I ain't gon' work it out. I ain't regular out. No, I ain't gon' work it out. I ain't regular out. You a civilian out. Nah, failure out. I ain't gon' work it out. Cause I ain't regular out. I ain't regular out. You's a regular out. Took that bitch back. And she done fed you out. Look how you living out. You look scary out. Can't fuck that bitch right. Cause she be getting nailed out. You won't forgive her, ain't it? You wanna love her, don't you? Just know that love ain't for you. It's for the world, homie. I got some real homies. We don't pretend, homie. ISUPK, 1 West, we kicking field goals. Let that bitch lead, ho. She got them D's, though. With a little steak and ass pussy, she be going beast mode. She HIV, ho. You a dirty ass skeet, ho. Don't get that shit up out your chest, bitch. Say what you gonna do now, what you gonna say now, what you gonna do to me? It is UPK, I'm shot too deep, it's better Google me. I put these girls all in my training camp like I relieve. I say what I do and I do what I say, bitch, what the fuck you mean? If I'm more right, that's good business. She look good but hang with dumb bitches. Tell her I'm way too fly for one sister. And if she leave a priest, I won't miss her. Won't put a ring around it. Oh, no, no, no. Bitches for the street like basketball goals. I always knew she'd let that lane hit her. Won't get a cent from me, I ain't simple. Bitch, now I ain't gon' work it out. I ain't regular out. No, I ain't gon' work it out. I ain't regular out. You a civilian out. Nah, failure out. I ain't gon' work it out. Cause I ain't regular out. I get paper, bro. Got my standards up. You a munchkin out. Catching these out. Check my flagrant out. I'm a player out. These niggas top block. Take your lead out. You shouldn't be worried about these broke ass bitches. And don't compare yourself to simp ass niggas. Had to shine a lot of these desperate ass women. Cause they be tripping hard, acting like they different. But a bit be basic, bit be horn and bit be naked. Drinking, faking, stankin', and shame is dirty. Mouth bit be vaping. I don't get too fucks about you. I wouldn't have put no baby in you. Bit be saying they got that paper, look, that let me itch. Done caught the penalty and my energy got me feeling me. Ice hitting on them, these diamond teeth that's into me. And I'm getting right and I'm stacking up and I'm getting to it. And these niggas hate but they can't touch cause I'm bulletproof. If I'm more right, that's good business. She look good but hang with dumb bitches. Tell her I'm way too fly for one sister. And if she leave a priest, I won't miss her. Won't put a ring around it. Oh, no, no, no. Bitches for the street like basketball goals. I always knew she'd let that lane hit her. Won't get a cent from me, I ain't simple. Bitch, now I ain't gon' work it out. I ain't regular out. No, I ain't gon' work it out. I ain't regular out. You a civilian out. Nah, failure out. I ain't gon' work it out. Cause I ain't regular out.
send my bro a kite quick. Times of war, we ain't forget about you, keep your light lit. Rappers can't see, most of them scared to witness. Go and close your eyes, there's one right here for the trenches. Bad bitches, natural hair or extensions. Hood niggas that'll poly grip like some dentures. Brothers on them fences, 23 and 1 out. Praying that that commissary hit before it run out. Bitches on the gram, dog filter with their tongue out. Couldn't stay home because they found the dugout. Closed casket, burner in the low jacket. My co-captain, riding on these whole rappers. My hoes fabulous. Now I don't mean that derogatory, but I'm a player and there's no my women riding for me. I avoided Maury, I got 2 jets. If I can't make it through for them, then I'm useless. Sit down that roof, Chris, with a couple bosses. After the war, just to count our losses. It's not many. You see a smile on my face, but I'm not friendly. Going on my waist, sipping white Henny. I just hope this shit go right. Living in the dark, you don't know lie. Gotta got my heart with my bow tie. Waiting on the squab in my whole life. I just hope this shit go right. Living in the dark, you don't know lie. Gotta got my heart with my bow tie. Living in the squab in my whole life. My whole life. It's so melodic. When I be dropping this ebonics, this ghetto phonics, they got me on the level supersonic. My bomb atomic, and you know where you can find me. Somewhere probably folding this paper origami. My name is pure as the Sani, my wave is like a tsunami. I went from 0 to 100, feeling like Ricky Bobby. I made a deal with the Reaper. Got a couple wives, they some keepers. Talk a lot of shit, but you can't walk a mile in my sneakers. Bitches go to Miami, come home with change features. Now she got a BBL, her ass fatter. Trying to show up all them niggas that laughed at her. Now when they see her, they only wanna fuck her. They just wanna touch her, they don't wanna cuff her. They just wanna come and kick it with her like a punter. Turned her to a runner, now it's all aboard the train. Fenty on her face, but it's not concealing the pain, it's a shame. So I'm in the hood like some rap snacks. I know niggas kill you and your mama for a scat pack. Dark tint, matte black, they do it for half that. Had you like 90s Missy in a fucking trash bag. I'm from Philly, we don't do bank accounts, just cash app. I spit a verse and I just watch the time slow. This that guy flow, this that shit that rappers die for. This that uncut Tahoe Wall straight from Pablo Escobar. I be at the bar like Moscato. They think it's effort, but no, this that block work. Make the countermeasures, take pleasures, making an op hurt. Light is in the sky, cause every verse is a concert. My mind work at speed y'all can't fathom. Listen to the words of a champion. It can't, the streets need another anthem. I just hope this shit go right. Living in the dark, you don't know lie. Gotta got my heart with my bow tie. Waiting on the squab in my whole life. I just hope this shit go right. Living in the dark, you don't know lie. Gotta got my heart with my bow tie. Living in the squab in my whole life. My whole life.
We good, yeah, okay. Yeah.
Baking soda's only 99 cents.
Yo. There's pressure that comes with the block. You could end up inside of a box when you get your knob buzzed by a op after getting set up by a thought. Opportunity, it doesn't knock. No, that sound right there be the cops. Yep. And all of that stress that we talking still beats punching the clock. You think I wanna sweep your floor from 8 to 4? Fuck, I wanna take your orders for when your favorite star got an Audemars that's worth more than mama's car. Type of shit make you wanna say fuck the law. When your rent's due and your piss poor, nigga, we don't even own our own corner store. So quarter waters cost a quarter more, huh? Wanna be an entrepreneur? We want sign checks. We want work for ourselves. We want own the nets. You're too much of a threat when you're on your own assets. So the only thing they show us is how to be an outlet. So we won't connect. They say hi like hola. Listen to Hova. Whip up a Rover. Been watching Power. Tommy and Ghost, bruh. So I need some powder. Fish scale and soda for
99 cents. It's hard to repent when you gotta pay rent. Baking soda's only 99 cents. Make it make sense, Lord, make it make sense. Baking soda's only 99 cents. It's hard to repent when you gotta pay rent. Baking soda's only 99 cents. Make it make sense, Lord, make it make sense, yeah. You see, the money is a motive. Repeat my history, crack cocaine is like the motif. It's plain and simple, way back then my mother hustled. It's in my blood, so I feel like it's time to grind. Just like the times when niggas lie. Hold up, back then was the bad days. Motherfuckers push mad weight, I was a crack baby. Tell me nothing about my mother and the struggle. See, I love you and this fuckers trying to smoke when she hustle. Selling everything in the house, goddamn. She ain't give a damn about a spouse, goddamn. So my oldest brother had to man up, had to take care of us in the piece with 4 kids. And one on the way with no clip, no food in the fridge, on some post shit. Got food stamps from the neighbors. Ty worked, he ain't ask no favors. Late night, he was shot bodegas. Over bread and some meat, some mayo. Kool-Aid had about 4 flavors. And when time went to cash out, Aki lashed out. Told him he'd take food stamps. $15 for that kid, fuck all that shit. Then the young nigga noticed that he could be the coldest. Take back what they owed us. Whole world on the shoulders. No food in the kitchen but the stove work. $10 in the sack and he points to the back, say, "Aight, let me get that soda." 99 cents. It's hard to repent when you gotta pay rent. Baking soda's only 99 cents. Make it make sense, oh, make it make sense. Baking soda's only 99 cents. It's hard to repent when you gotta pay rent. Baking soda's only 99 cents. Make it make sense, oh, make it make sense, yeah.
So let me get this shit straight. So I gotta go take out loans to go to school, to get a job, just to pay for the loans I took out in the first place? I'm looking at this arm and hammer like I should have a hammer in my arm right goddamn now. Shit ain't make no sense. Lord, make it make sense. Goddamn.
Baking soda's only 99 cents. Hey, it's hard to repent when you gotta pay rent. Baking soda's only 99